Jai Gurudev, everybody, welcome to Satsang in Vrindavan. So, I'll ask Samiravati now to ask you a question.
Dear Guruji, you've said it is possible to get rid of desires, but is it possible to get rid of the remembrance of these desires and enjoying them?
Well, you see, something that you don't appreciate, you don't keep thinking about it. You see, when you don't like something, easily you forget about it. So, desire is also the same. You see, you have a desire inside of you, whether they get fulfilled or not. But to keep remembering it, you make yourself miserable. You see, very often people take life for granted. The good thing in the life, they easily forget about it. You know, there's no effort to it. But when they languish behind thoughts that have not to be fulfilled, they keep hanging upon that. I don't understand why people have to really make themselves miserable and unhappy about a certain thoughts of a desire. So it's true that desires are there, you know. So some of the desire will be fulfilled and some no. And why is it not fulfilling? It's because you don't need it in your life. If you will need it in your life, once it's fulfilled, then you take it for granted and then you move forward. But still, you become unhappy. So your nature in itself is not to be unhappy. Your nature in itself is to be happy. So if you keep bringing these thoughts, because thoughts is like that, you know, you allowed yourself to think, you allowed yourself to bring past memories when they are not even there. If you sit and analyze yourself, you will see. But most of the time, when we talk about unfulfilled desires, the thought of it itself, you bring it. So don't invite this uninvited guests. You know. Once this uninvited guests have gone, let it be there. You don't need to bring them back and make yourself miserable and unhappy.
Dear Guruji, why do we feel so unworthy of the love of God?
You see, we said God is love. But can we handle this love? When we take, for example, the saints, they consider themselves unworthy of this love due to their humility. But very often we have a certain notion that we are unworthy for the love of God because of the upbringing. Very often in the West, they tell you, you have to fear God. They don't tell you to love God. Tell me, which religion tell you to love God and have a relationship with Him? When we talk about religion, we see that most of the religion tell you to fear Him. You must fear Him. When you fear Him, you can really bow down to Him and really serve Him. It's not true. God is this bliss, this ball of love, you know. How can you fear it? You can embrace this love and enjoy it. But when you start thinking about it, of course, due to your upbringing, you find it difficult to love God because you see all your negativity. You know, the mind process is like this. You know, when we talk about love, first thing that arises inside the mind is all your negative quality about yourself. And when your negative quality arises inside of you, you see your unworthiness. So how can I be worthy of something which is supreme, something which is beyond? But the whole essence of who you are You are a parcel of that love of God. This is your true nature. Whether you want it or not, your Atma, in its quality, it is that parcel of that divinity inside of you. So yourself itself is a part of that love. Whether you are worthy, you think of yourself being worthy or not, you are a parcel of that love. You know, in chapter 14, at the beginning itself, Bhagavan Krishna said to Arjun, chapter 14, verse 1, he said to Arjun, I'm giving you again and again this knowledge by which the sages attain the perfection. And at the end of the life, they come to me. You see, again and again, he keeps repeating himself about that knowledge of who you are. You are the Atma. You are a parcel of that divine love. Here when he said about the sages, he's not talking about the old man with long beard. You know, he's talking about those who have that knowledge, how to detach from the finite reality and to attach to the infinite reality. So he's continuously reminding Arjun of that. And continuously life remind one, but we are parcel of that divinity. We are parcel of that love. And we have to do everything to detach from the limited self and attain the unlimited self. As long as you think of yourself being finite, you will be limited. But when we talk about love, love is infinite. Love is beyond any limit. And this is who you are. And this, when you identified yourself to that love, you become that love itself. It's not being, when Krishna said, at the end of this life, then you attain me. No. You see, when we analyze life itself, death is constantly happening. We were once a child. When the childhood is dead, adulthood takes place. When adulthood disappeared, old age takes place. When old age disappears, death comes. So there is death at each stage of your life. You know, so for example, for a mother, for a woman to become a mother, the death of the virginity must be there. You know, for a bachelor to be in grihastha, the death of bachelorhood happen. So in life, you have death in many stages. So it's not about when you leave this body itself only that you are worthy to praise God and to be worthy to love Him. Then what the use of it? You know, He have given you this physical body to take full and maximum advantage of it, to build your relationship with Him. And He have deemed you worthy of that. That's why He have given you that body. But what are you doing with that? You're sitting on your pity self and crying, saying, oh, I'm not worthy of this, I'm not worthy of that. No, you are worthy. He have made you worthy. He have called you. How can you be not worthy? So change that perception of saying that you are not worthy of the love of God. Because you are fully worthy of it. That's why He have given you. That's why He have called you.
Jagudev, how can we balance our spiritual life with our daily life with duties? Because it seems to me that if one prevails, the other part of our life suffers a decline. Is this true?
It's not true at all. You see, this is a misconception that very often spiritual people have. They say, when we become spiritual, we have to let go of our daily duty and fully focus on the spiritual path, which is not true. Every part of your life is spiritual. Whatever you do in your daily life, in which attitude you are doing it, that becomes your spiritual path. When you go on the spiritual path, doesn't mean that you should stop working. You should work, but with which attitude you are doing your duty, that is very important. On the battlefield, when Arjun was crying and complaining that he don't want to fight, Arjun asked Krishna many excuses to run away. Did Lord Krishna tell him to run away? No, he didn't. What did he say? He said, look, if you run away, you go to hell. This is very important to understand. If one run away from one duty of the outside reality, what you have been given in the outside world, you will go to hell. So here he's saying to Arjun that by running away from one duty which nature have provided for you, you will suffer for that. Very often people, because they become spiritual, they say, oh, my job is not good. They find many excuses for not doing their job what they have been doing. Of course, if your job is killing of animal and all this stuff, of course, that is questionable, But in reality, he don't ask you to change, anything in your life. What he have to do is incorporate himself into what you are doing. It's not about running away from one duty. It's about loving it. And really see it as the grace of God, that God have given you an opportunity to work for in whatever field you are for Him. So, like that, you will not change your daily routine. Like he said to Arjun, if you run away from that duty, you go to hell. If you do that duty, also you go to hell. But if both goes to hell, how would that be possible? Then he said that. Then he said, "Let your mind and intellect be upon me." So wherever you are, incorporate the divine by chanting His name, by thinking about Him. I don't ask you to think 24 hours of Him. He knows that it is not possible. But at least a little bit of time. You have time to gossip. You have time to call your beloved one. You have time for so many things. But find few minutes, time to time, just chant His divine name inside of you. You don't need to chant it loud. Think about Him. Connect with Him. Find an excuse. Go to the toilet. Sit down. Meditate upon Him. So, you see, you find many excuses to do so many things in life. But try to find excuses also to incorporate your spiritual path in your daily life itself. There's no need to run away to caves. It's not the time for that. And it is also, in ancient time, it was not meant for everybody to do that. Only the sages was doing that. That's one, this time the sages with a long beard I'm talking about. So when you sit in the cave there's no shaving things. So naturally your beard will grow. So make your life your spirituality.
Dear Guruji, in scriptures many stories reveal how people with big egos have become saints or have got liberation after their ego has been removed or crushed. My question is, what to do for people who have the opposite problem, the so-called inferiority complex? What is their recommended path?
Inferiority complex. Again, it is very similar to the first question, second question you asked. You see, about being unworthy. You see, so you see, very often we self-judge ourselves because it's easy. We said, yes, love everybody. It's easy to love everyone, because when you say you love everybody, nobody really come and ask you, you know, you don't need to really engage yourself. You just say, yeah, I love everybody. But when you come to the point of loving yourself, you perceived all your flaws. And you focus upon that. You say, no, I can't. Do you know how many people I have met who said, I can't love myself, but I can love others? How can you love somebody else when you don't have it for yourself? Love of oneself means learn to accept yourself how you are. You see, when you learn to accept yourself, you will see that your life itself will change into an adventure. So this acceptance, meaning accept the way you are. Firstly, doesn't mean that you can't change. Doesn't mean that you should not change for the best. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to learn to accept you, how you are, which means love yourself. Like that, your inferiority complex, because you're focusing so much on the tamasic level of yourself, more you concentrate on that, more you will not grow. So concentrate on something positive. Change the way you think about yourself. You see, that will help you to rise above. When we look at all the sages, you know, the saints you were telling about the saints, their life, you know. Look, one of the most beautiful saints that we concentrate, we tell the story of is Shabari. Shabari was, first she was like a tribal chief daughter. On her marriage day, she ran away. And she ran away looking for her guru. So she traveled everywhere. No one will accept her because they know that she was a tribal girl. She ran away on the night of her marriage just to avoid that they sacrifice many goats and cows and so on because of her, because this is a tribal at that time they were doing. So to avoid that, she ran away. So finally, she went to many ashrams, but the ashram would not take her because they were scared. If they take her, her parents will come and destroy the ashram and fight and everything. So finally, one sage accepted her. And her daily life, from where she had such a beautiful life, her daily life was only to carrying water and look after the welfare of the ashram. Nothing else. So time goes on. The Guru, it was time for the Guru to ascend. So she was crying and said, Guruji, that the only thing I want is to serve you. And I want to be with you. And the Guru Maharaj knew about it and said to her, no, your life purpose, why you have been born here, is to meet the Lord, to serve Him. He will come, He have incarnate on earth in the form of Lord Rama. He will come and give you darshan. You see, like that, often we don't realize the greatness of being born as a human being. Especially when God have given one that grace to know His name. Shabri didn't know Ram. She knows only the name of Ram. And that's what she was worshipping throughout her life. She was worshipping only the name of Ram. And every day she was waiting for Ram to come. She will pick up the berries from the trees. She will prepare the flower, the place where Ram will sit. Only the name of Ram was everything for her. So it so happened that one day she went to get some water in the river. And as she was going, because she is considered being from a low caste, so the sages which were around, they got disturbed by her making noise while taking the water from the river. So one of the sages threw a stone at her. So the stone hit her leg, and some of the blood oozed out into the river. When the blood touched the river, the whole river became bloody. So she ran away crying because she felt so bad. So when the sages saw that, they said, oh, her contaminated blood have contaminated the whole river. So the old sages which were around, they all gathered and they start chanting lots of mantras, all these things to purify the water. Nothing happened. So finally, as Ram was in the forest in exile, they heard about Ram, said Ram is Purushottam, is the Supreme Lord himself which have incarnate. So they went and request him, please, to grace the place and to purify the river. So Rama came with Lakshmana. So when Rama and Lakshman were there, they asked Rama, please put your divine lotus feet into the water. And Rama said, okay, fine. He stepped into the water, nothing happened. So then Ram said, what shall I do? I said, maybe you should take a dip in the water. I said, my feet have not changed that water. Do you think by taking a dip we will change something? I said, please, 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 please. So Rama took a dip in the water, nothing happened. So they were very insisting, these sages. So they request Ram, please, can you do gargle some water inside of your mouth and spit it again into the water? Maybe that will change the water, the river. Lakshman opposed to that idea, said, how can you say that to my brother? So Ram said, okay, let's fulfill their wish. They're sages, so let's fulfill their wish. So Ram took some water, gurgled, spit it into the river, nothing happened. So it's asking, what should be done? So they were worried. Then they told Ram the story. But when Rama heard about Shabari, you see that connection between the beloved Lord and their beloved, the lover and the beloved, it's unique. That longing which Shabari had throughout all these years, she was young and now she's an old lady. But that longing for Ram have not changed. And Bhagwan, when he heard this name of Shabari, he was filled with bhav and he was jumping around and said, please bring me to Shabari. He said, how can we bring you to this low lady's place, She's from a very low caste, very, old lady, bad, How can we bring? I said, no, I need to see her. So they said, okay, they request Shabari. They sent a message to Shabari. So when Shabari heard that her beloved Lord is nearby, she ran like a mad woman towards her beloved Lord. As she was running, a little dust from her feet fell into the water. And the moment the dust touched the water, the whole water was purified. This is very important, very important to see that. She who have considered herself unworthy, but Bhagwan have never considered herself unworthy. You people consider yourself inferior, but God have given you this physical body, have made you a devotee, have given you His divine name because He consider you important in His eyes. So when Shabari reached Lord Rama, she fell down at the feet of Rama, and Rama was so delighted to see Shabari. So the sages could not understand what happened. How come the dust of the feet of Shabari have purified the whole river when their mantra and their knowledge and their devotion, so-called devotion, could not, even Lord Rama himself could not. So they asked Lord Rama what it is. So Lord Rama explained, the blood when they have hit Shabari, the blood which would have fallen into the water was not Shabari's blood. It was actually his blood from his heart. And the dust of such a devotee have purified that blood. Ram could not purify it himself. But the simple dust from this devotee itself had purified this. So like that, God have seen something deeper inside of you. You know. Let your mind be absorbed into that parcel of divinity which is inside of you, that worthiness of His love inside of you. Whether you consider yourself inferior or superior, it doesn't matter. You know, the most important thing is that your mind is absorbed into His divine name. So, Jai Gurudev, everybody. Finish?